Welcome to Liquid Lunch. Where are we? We're coming at you live.
From a secret location.
In Toronto. A very good location in Toronto. Right.
It's a secret location.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Except for our guests, who
Yes.
we gave the address to.
Yes, we had to do that secretly.
So it's me, Hugh, and this is Sandra.
Hello.
And we're doing this show as if it's our first time, by the sound of it, right?
Yeah. In a way it is. Because every moment's a new moment, right? When you are really in your now, Hugh, when you're really in your isness, there is no past, there is no no future, there's just the here and the now, right?
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about.
Yeah. We better adjust Sandra's.
Yeah,
We better adjust Sandra's camera. It's a little low in frame. Anyways, so Sandra,
Yes.
you were just telling me that that you're writing a book about the shift, and we had a little discussion with Will before the show that 2012 I said nothing happened, even though everything was supposed to happen all at once, and it didn't. And you're saying 2014 might be the year.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, the book is not about the shift. The book is about you shifting, right? Because you are your shift.
Yeah.
Right? So the book is about where we are in terms of the human experiment and moving up
Is
to
it
the
an
next
experiment?
level. Yeah, we are an experiment.
What's going to happen?
Isn't that the coolest thing?
Are the aliens going to come back and reclaim their investment?
Well, you know what? Everything is. If they do, it's because we told them to do it. They're just following our orders. Right? It's all designed by us. Okay, it's a little bit too big.
No, that's not too big.
Come on, guys.
No, that's good. Even though she's fuzzy and the sign is not fuzzy. Sandra, host.
Okay.
Look, Sandra, you're a host.
There, I meant.
That's good.
Okay, all right.
That's good.
Okay, now
See?
I have my head cut off.
That's
just,
all right.
Just the way you.
It's all about.
Anyway, so I'm going
cinematography.
to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're saying is that I think 2014, Will and I were talking that we think 2014 is going to be something of a make it or break it for each person individually.
Here's what I heard about 2014.
Okay, what did you hear? You actually heard something?
Yes.
We're already hearing this. Well, you know what? We're not even in December. We're already hearing the stuff for next year.
2014 is when Obama is going to invoke martial law in the U.S., right? That's when they're going to send everybody to the FEMA camps, right? Because they're putting little colored stickers on everybody's mailbox in the U.S.
Are you serious?
And if
Do you have a video showing that?
Yeah, of course I don't have that one about the, I don't have the one about the colored stickers, but yeah, they're going to, if you have a red sticker, it means that they're going to kill you. If you have a blue sticker, it means they're going to just take you to a FEMA camp. Or if you have a yellow sticker, it means you're okay for now.
So here I'm talking about a shift in consciousness. And here he's talking about this doom or gloom. Oh my goodness.
Well,
I think I like mine better.
Well, I like it better too, but what's going to happen? Is it going to go good or is it going to go bad, Sandra? I hope you're right.
It depends on you. No, seriously, but did you really hear about that?
Yeah.
Have you seen pictures of
The
red stickers?
Yeah, in the U.S.
You've seen pictures of people doing that?
Yeah, people are going out and they're finding stickers on their mailboxes.
Who's determining
FEMA.
this? And who gets chosen in terms of your
I guess they
kill?
look at your, your Google searches and listen to your conversations on the phone. And if you're a dissident or a survivalist or a constitutionalist, you get a red sticker, right?
Oh, and that means you're dead. And
Yeah.
then so what makes you go to FEMA camp? If you obey the law?
You're not as bad. They don't need to kill you right away. They can
And
just
then
put you in
who gets the yellow
jail.
sticker?
Like people that have had too much fluoride and, sort of the zoned out zombies that will comprise the future.
And is there a white sticker?
Not that I know of. I think there's only 3 from what I've seen.
Wow.
Maybe we can.
You have to
maybe
find
we
that
should-
video.
Maybe we should play that video. Somehow we'll do it in editing. We'll play that video.
Okay.
Done. It's a done deal. We're going to play that video.
Interesting.
Okay. Let me tell you what else now, even though they're putting stickers on your mailboxes, we do have a video we're going to show later in the show about how to survive martial law,
Okay.
right? Even though I still want things to go the way you're talking about, Sandra.
See, that's the thing. I think what we're going to see is a splitting of people who buy into fear and people who don't buy into fear, and those who don't buy into fear will, I think, go the way of raising their consciousness, right? And people who buy into fear will be falling and buy into that whole paradigm
You might
of.
be right. And
That's what I think is.
Because I had I won't even talk about it. But anyways, yeah, maybe we can change everything with the power of our minds.
The power of our hearts,
Yeah,
right?
hearts and minds. Okay, let's, you want to get busy with
Yeah,
the show?
I just want to say happy birthday to my sis and to Roger.
That's
Two people,
nice.
it's their birthdays today.
Nice.
Have a good day.
Okay. Here's some other
And don't
videos.
listen to this because I really don't want you to get depressed on your birthday listening to Hugh's famous stories.
Okay, but I got some other videos that we're going to
Okay.
show.
What
First
do
of
we
all,
have?
I got some, now we've heard the stories that they didn't actually go to the moon, but we have proof on video that they did go to the moon. So,
See, here's my thing.
yeah,
How do you know it's the moon? How do you know?
because it's called the moon.
But how do we know it's not a stage?
Because it's proof. It's on video.
Okay, so like we're not
You'll
even
see it.
we're not even showing where we are. We're saying this is a secret location. How do people out there?
Okay,
How
let's
do,
do
how
the.
do they know we're not on the moon right now? We could be on the moon.
Well, you said it was a secret
Yeah.
location.
So we could be on the moon.
Yeah.
So how do we know they're really on the moon?
Well,
Is that a
because
stupid
we
question?
got proof. We're going to play the video now, and then we'll. It's number 3.
Okay.
We're going to do that video. Also, we have, as I said, how to survive martial law. We also have. They're making a movie about Rob Ford,
Oh my God.
and we've got the trailer.
No way.
Yeah, boy, we should play all these all at once.
Everybody's working for the weekend. Did you see that?
No, I don't get it. What's that from?
Will Ferrell. You didn't see that? And then he's coming out with a new movie called where he plays that character Ron Burgundy. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
one. So he was on Conan,
Yeah.
and he was there to promote Conan, and he took his whole segment and dedicated it to Rob Ford, and actually sang "Everybody's Working for the Weekend" and live played the flute.
Oh yeah.
Rob Ford apparently loved it.
Well, that's a good song
Yeah, and he did an amazing job.
by a Canadian band.
Yeah, and that's what he
Yeah.
said. You know, Rob has hired me. This is his theme song for his new election,
Yeah.
for his election campaign. Everybody's working for the weekend.
Cool. All right. So let's watch the.
We should show that.
Yeah. Look.
See if we
I
can
don't
find
have
it.
It's too many things that we're
Okay,
not ready
sorry.
for.
It's
Okay,
more important to talk about the moon.
Let's do the moon thing later, but let's do the
I
Rob.
can do the moon dance.
What? Okay. Yeah, we'll get that. Definitely. Well, in fact, we'll dedicate a whole day to capturing you doing the moon dance.
On the moon.
Or the moonwalk.
On
Okay.
the moon.
So let's do the Rob Ford trailer. Everybody's already seen this, but we're going to watch it and we're going to do all the other stuff later. We're going to
Okay.
come back. Actually, our guests, Brian Obonna.
Not Obama.
No,
So
Obonna.
we're not asking him any FEMA questions.
And he's an actor. He's going to come on first.
Okay.
And then we got Paula Eriya+Tamara from Hair Explosion.
Is that a band or a hair salon?
It's a hair explosion. You'll
Maybe
have to
it's
stay
both.
tuned to
Maybe
find
they're
out.
singing hairstylists.
Also, singer Veronica Domingues is coming on the show a little bit later.
Oh.
And Shawn Dalton will be here.
Shawn is back. Our man
He's
is
back.
back.
I think we're
Mr.
doing part 2 of the
Politics of Passion.
the Quebec
Oh.
values thing. What do they
That
call
was
that?
interesting.
Yeah. So let's start with the Rob Ford trailer, and we'll come back with Brian Obonna as Liquid Lunch gets underway.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
I'm stoned.
Do you have any idea how fast you were going?
I guess I was going about 65 tops.
7 miles an hour. And normally when I stop people, they pull onto the shoulder.
Spent a little too much time puking off balconies. You're a huge embarrassing failure. This town doesn't even know what's about to hit.
I just want you to know that as long as I'm around, I'm gonna bust my butt and make sure that every last one of you always has a job. You can put 6 packs of soda in here?
Want one?
I'd better not.
He says rectum damn near killed him.
The whole car smells like beer. They're never gonna believe I wasn't drinking.
He must be all hopped up on crack cocaine.
Vincent, wake up, slut! I can't stop! Oh my God, it's a police report.
Front page.
Sorry, Rob. You can't be coach anymore.
I love this job. Can't afford to be associated with any kind of scandal, especially one involving kids and drugs.
Can't do this anymore, man. My head's about to explode.
Saw you with a smile. Cut you like you want me to.
Boy, did I screw up. The town's going under and I'm out of a job. But this isn't the end. No way. We're gonna show this world a thing or two. We're gonna show.
Tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no. Yes, I've been black, but when I come
How do we look?
back, no.
I want the one on the left. She's perfect.
I'm watching you.
You got the time. Try to make me go to rehab.
You know, she's like the Grinch. I can't do anything about it, and I'm tired of it. She just wants to be left alone, so what's the point?
I remember when it happened. I know it's tough, Aaron, but if your dad was alive, I'm sure that things...
Yeah, but he's not. So let's just forget about it. Okay?
All right, so there's a little clip, not very long, only 23 seconds of.
Just a teaser,
Yes,
just
Yep.
enough to wet your taste buds.
right, beds. What are you
Buds.
thinking about?
Taste buds.
Okay, we got Brian Obonna here, who was in the video there. Brian, welcome
Yep.
to the show.
I don't know how old you are, but you look way too young.
I look too young?
Yes.
I'm 17.
Wow.
Let's see, how old was Drake when he started on what was that show?
Degrassi?
yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. He's a teenager too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
see?
sure.
So do you have aspirations? I mean, I know you're doing acting now, but okay,
Yeah.
actually, let's find out. First of all, what was that clip from? What was that video?
That clip was from a short film called Last Eve. It's a Christmas short film. And
Is it coming out this Christmas?
It's coming out this Christmas, yeah.
Yay!
It's coming out the first week of December. So yeah, that film is basically, it's about a young boy named Aaron, which is played by me, and he tries to get his mom to see the positive spirit of about Christmas, but that's very hard to do since the passing away of his father.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, it's a great film, a lot of people can relate to it, people that deal with the same type of issues and stuff like that, and it's a great family film for the holiday season. So
Wow.
Is
Very
it going to be as good? Because sometimes people make these films, and then
yeah.
it takes some time before people go, okay, that's a classic. Like A Christmas Carol or
Home Alone.
yeah, or
Sorry, I like Home Alone.
Okay. You're dating yourself, Hugh, okay?
no, I mean when it's a classic, right? That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but he thinks in his world, Home Alone is a classic.
Well, how
For
about
sure, Home Alone. That's a
okay? What else is a classic in your mind? Like I like The Grinch
The Grinch?
too.
The Grinch
yeah.
is
Oh,
Stole
that's a good
Christmas?
one too. Yeah. That's a good one.
Wow.
Okay, so this one obviously because you're there at City Hall.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a Canadian.
It's a Canadian, yeah.
Where's it going to be aired?
It's gonna online.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be shown, and yeah, for more details on like where it's gonna be, like when it airs and stuff like that, you can check out my website, which is brianobonna.com.
Yeah.
And yeah. it would
Now,
just
were
be
you
updates
involved
there.
beyond being an acting role on it? Were you
did you-
involved in the production or?
No.
financing it?
So did you audition for it? Is that how this?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not, you're not part of the film, like you're not responsible for the writing or,
No,
the,
no, no,
or
no,
anything
no.
like that. You just auditioned for
I
it.
auditioned for it, yeah.
Okay.
I had to go through 3 auditions. So I auditioned once, got a call back, auditioned again, got another call back, and then auditioned for it, and then
Got it.
I got it.
So what's that process like for you?
that process, it's nerve-wracking, but not necessarily. It's like, I like that feeling, you know, like going into an audition and then that like adrenaline rush, you know, that feeling. Like I just love that feeling. So I enjoy doing it. I enjoy auditioning, and yeah, I just have fun with it. I don't necessarily overthink when I go into an audition. You know, I just have fun.
So the first audition you went for, how many people? You know, because if you have like a room full of like maybe 20 people who are auditioning for the role,
Yeah.
that can be nerve-wracking. You didn't find that? Were there a lot of people there auditioning for the same role that you were?
Yeah, there was.
And you didn't feel the nervous tension and all that stuff happening?
Not necessarily.
Good for you.
Not really.
Good for
Did
you.
you know that you had the role before you even went in?
In my mind, I kind of like,
Yeah.
I kind of like have a
Kind of
vision
feeling?
of like, okay, I'm gonna get this. This is how it's gonna look when I get it. You know, I just have
Wow.
fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. So the very last audition, was it down between you down to 2 people kind of thing, or?
I'm not sure,
Okay.
but
okay.
I auditioned for it.
So you treat them all the same. So whether you're
Yeah.
auditioning when there's 20 people or just you and one other person, it doesn't matter to you? Is that the idea?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But
Wow.
one audition I went to, it was crazy. It was for a TV show. There was like literally like 1,000 people there. Like the line
Wow.
stretched out, like it went so long, and I had to
Wow.
wait for like 8 hours just to audition, just to have like a 10-minute audition.
And was that
crazy.
like a general, anybody can go to audition, or was
Yeah,
that planned?
it was
okay,
an
it was
open
like an open
audition.
call. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you get that part?
No, but I got calls from those people for other parts, for other productions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is good. Yeah.
I've heard actually a lot of actors say things like, you know, even if you're really good for the role, sometimes you don't get it because you may remind the director of somebody he had a fight with or doesn't like. You happen to look like that person, and we're only human, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes that can influence, even though they may have had a really good audition. If that looks like your ex-wife, for instance,
Yeah.
you might, that kind of spills over.
Yeah.
Do you think that's,
I think so.
because acting's all about emotion, so
Yeah.
why wouldn't that be?
I think that can be a factor for sure.
Yeah, so sometimes when you don't get the part, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It really is not. It's about,
I hear it helps to take it personally. Right, Brian?
Shoot.
Okay, so what else are you involved with? So you're doing this Last Eve, which is great. We're looking forward to seeing that. But
Yeah.
I also understand you're in Treehouse.
Yeah, I'm currently on Treehouse daily, and
Nope.
that's for Splash and Boots. They're an artist, and
what's Treehouse?
Treehouse, it's a TV station.
It's for kids.
It's for
Okay,
kids.
okay.
See, she's always she just watches the adult stations.
No, I watch Animal Planet.
Animal Planet.
So, okay. So I don't have kids, I have pets.
So you're on Treehouse like every day?
Every day, yeah, different times of the day. It's for the Splash and Boots segments.
Yeah.
And I am in their segment for shoes, their segment for Upside Down, and also their segment for Just Try One Bite.
What the heck is all that?
It's like videos. It's like videos for the kids.
Okay.
So like, Just Try One Bite, it's trying to like educate the kids that to eat healthy.
It's only one
It's
potato
better,
chip. Only
stuff
one
like
potato
that.
chip.
Basically.
Just one. That's the try one bite. Stop at one.
Yeah.
Brian, do you eat healthy like that?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm an athlete, so
Are you?
I'm also an athlete. Yeah,
Wow.
so
So
I
that's
do
okay. You
Okay.
can eat whatever you want. in other
whatever I
words.
want. Yeah, here and there.
So what kind of athlete?
I'm a track and field athlete.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what would you aspire? What's more important or more fun for you? The acting or the athletic?
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Is it?
Anytime people ask me that, that's always like the hardest question. It's like when I'm doing track, it's like the feeling I get is like, oh my gosh, I need to get back on set. You know, like I need to get back on set. And then when I'm on set, I'm like, I need to sweat, you know, like I need
Need
to,
to get in the
need to get
field.
back, need to get back on the field, you know?
Oh, that's
so it's like,
funny.
I like them both equally. Like, it depends during the time and stuff like that. But
Okay.
both of them for sure
Okay.
are very important to me.
So do you hope to go to the Olympics in track and field and that kind of
That
thing?
would be awesome. I would love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're 17 now, and you obviously got some great things going on
Yeah.
in acting world and athletic world, but when you see yourself as a, you know, a middle-aged, grown-up, fully,
You can't
fully
see
grown
that
guy.
far ahead.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
I can't, but maybe he can.
When I was
Right?
17, you know, you may as well be dead when you're middle-aged. That's
But I'm just, do you see yourself as an actor, or what do you think?
For sure, yeah. I see myself continuing doing what I'm doing right now. You know,
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it, and yeah, I see myself doing this for a very long time.
How about track and field? You could be doing track and
Track
field
and field, I hope so.
at middle-aged.
I hope so.
What's your main event, or your main...
In track,
track?
I do the triple jump and long jump.
Triple jump, what is that?
Hop, skip, and jump.
jump.
Oh, okay, that is how I know it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's,
Yeah.
I guess, aging myself.
Doesn't sound cool for the
Hop,
Olympics,
skip, and
right?
jump, I guess not.
How about high jump?
High jump, I've never done high jump
No?
before. No,
Never?
never. For fun I have, but
Yeah.
That is really hard. I tried that.
Did you do the Fosbury?
I'm from Sudbury.
Okay.
What's the Fosbury?
Well, you know what the Fosbury is, right, Brian?
Fosbury. No.
There's two ways to jump over the high jump, right? One is the scissor jump, and the other is
Oh yeah, the
Fos-
scissor.
Yeah. The Fosbury is when you go over on your back.
On
Oh
your
yeah,
back? Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I
yeah,
did
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's how I did it. But I could never go over my back. I always fell on the stick.
So, okay, so Brian, so what else are you working on? Besides Treehouse, which sounds exciting.
Yeah, I recently finished working on the film project, and like I just finished working on it like last week. And
The Last Eve, you mean? right? Or another one?
No, another one.
Okay.
I finished working on it like about last week, and it's called The Miracle of People. And
Wow.
basically, my role in that is just I'm the town troublemaker. You know.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, it was just I'm just that one kid that just is annoying in the town. You know, I cause a lot of trouble and stuff like that. So yeah, that's set to come out around spring 2014.
Okay. And
So-
how is that coming out?
Uh,
Is it a TV or a movie or is it
It's a
online?
TV movie,
Okay.
and it's also going to go through like film festivals and
okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. That's great. Sounds like
Yeah.
you're getting a lot of work.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you.
And now you did some work with the United Way as well? What was that all
Yeah,
about?
last year I was the face for the 2012 United Way campaign, and it was crazy. That was like one of the craziest experiences because I remember the video I did for them premiered at their kickoff on the big screen, and the theater was filled with like hundreds of people. So I got to see myself on the big screen along with everyone else. So that was crazy. Like I was like, my head is this big in person. Like look at my head on the big screen. Like my head is huge. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Just make sure your ego doesn't get as big.
Yeah. For
That's-
sure. Always be humble. for
Yes,
sure.
always.
So right now you're still in school?
Yeah,
And
Full-time?
where do you go to school?
full time. I go to school in Brampton.
Still in high school?
Still in high school, yeah.
What about post high school? Do you have any plans to?
Post high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm thinking of studying criminal justice, and hopefully continuing track and field in post secondary.
Would you like to get a scholarship from the States or something?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Basically.
Okay. Because that would help, right?
That would help for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you? You mentioned criminal justice. And just curious, why do you want to study that?
I don't know, because my sister is in law school right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's just
Is it in your family
looks
in any
interesting.
chance, by any chance, or?
education.
Yeah, well, law.
Law, not necessarily, but
Okay.
education is something that my family like really finds important.
So if you were to go to school for drama,
For drama, my other sister got a major in theater arts. Yeah.
so you have everything. You have like the whole intellectual thing happening, and you have the creative thing happening, and the athletic thing happening.
Yeah.
That's a great balance.
Yeah.
Okay, now is there anything else you're involved in that we should know about, Brian?
Uh,
I know we were trying to think of all the things we should talk about before we came on the show, but
no, that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you, do you sing?
Do I sing?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
I wish. I wish.
Now, do you want to do what Drake did and get into hip hop and stuff like that At some point down the road?
Hopefully in the future.
Really?
Hopefully,
Now,
yeah.
can you write that stuff and deliver that kind of stuff?
If I put my mind to it, then yeah.
Yeah.
Is Degrassi still running, that show? Is it
Yeah.
still? So wouldn't you like to get onto that? Because that seems to be a springboard for people, right? In
Yeah,
Canada?
it does. It is.
For whatever reason.
I hope
it
to get
seems-
on that one day.
Have you auditioned for them or anything
For
like
Degrassi,
that? Or,
no.
yeah,
Never.
yeah. Well,
Because that would be a good place.
Yeah,
to
I would
go.
for sure.
well, listen, we would love to hear about any future roles that you get and stuff like that. And thanks for coming in today.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
And I have to say, if you do ever go into music, you should think about playing the piano because you have the longest fingers of anybody I've ever
Everyone says
seen.
that. Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Everyone says
they
that.
are look at how they are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you would be like you would put Liberace to shame. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian. So thanks for doing this, and let us know about your future stuff. We'd love to have you back.
All right. Thank
And good
you.
luck. Good luck on the 2 films or the online thing and the
Thank
next
you.
one coming up. That's very cool.
All right. So we're gonna watch. Well, we're gonna put that one about the colored stickers on the mail. But what do you actually? Before we let Brian go, did you hear? Oh, you didn't hear us talking about that.
What?
But
Do you even know what a
apparently-
FEMA camp is?
You
A
heard
what?
about the
A
FEMA
FEMA
camps?
camp?
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't
Okay,
know
so
about
you know
that.
what? You don't go there.
Okay, just watch the show afterwards. We're going to run some videos. Also, we have this one now. There is swearing in this, but this is about the moon. Proof that they landed on the moon. Number 3. We're gonna
Again, so it's something called the moon. It could be a nightclub that they call the moon,
Yeah.
right?
And then we're going to come back with Paula and Tamara as Liquid Lunch continues. We'll be right back.
I'm afraid. X-ray Delta 1, this is Mission Control. Roger, you're 2013. Sorry you fellas are having a bit of trouble. We are reviewing telemetric information in our mission simulator and will advise.
This is Tranquility Base. The Eagle has landed. Jesus H. Christ. Houston. We're on the fucking moon. Over.
Roger, Tranquility, we copy that. We cannot believe you are on the fucking moon. Repeat, cannot fucking believe it, over.
The moon. For Christ's sake. The moon. Over.
Are you quite sure?
You're cleared to hook up lunar equipment conveyor to fucking walk on the moon. Over.
I'm descending the ladder. See the Earth. The entire planet Earth. For the love of Christ.
We read you, Tranquility, over.
On the bottom rung of the ladder. Just one more step and I'm...
Tranquility?
Holy living fuck. Are you fucking believing this? Over.
We read you, over.
I hope the two of you are not concerned about this.
I abso-fucking-lutely am standing on the surface of the fucking moon. Am talking to you from the surface of the fucking moon. Jesus H. Christ in a chicken basket.
Holy shit, Tranquility.
Holy mother of fuck. The fucking moon. Over.
I can see you're really upset about this. I honestly think you ought to sit down calmly, take a stress pill, and think things over.
My God, it's full of stars.
Okay, we're back on the show here, and see, so proof that they went to the moon.
Wow,
Absolutely.
and even they're pretty stunned, aren't they?
Well, because they couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Right? Okay. Well, we got Paula and Tamara here, and
Hello,
guys,
ladies.
welcome.
Thank you.
Could you believe they went to the moon?
No.
Do you believe that it is the moon?
No.
Aha,
You don't?
see?
Do you think they really went to the moon?
No.
You don't?
No.
No, seriously.
Seriously.
What?
Seriously.
Looked
Looked like it, but I don't believe
How
it.
would you know what the moon looked like?
Exactly.
Have any of us ever been to the moon?
I have to tell you, I'm from Sudbury, and they say Sudbury looks like the moon.
Yeah.
Really?
So
But
that
I
could be
don't.
Sudbury.
It's
So
a
you-
possibility.
You don't think they went to the moon?
No.
What about all the hype?
That's just propaganda.
You
I
think?
mean, it's just
I
my
agree,
thing.
I agree.
It's my theory. I don't believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for
I don't.
you.
Why
I
do
don't.
they have to lie?
Why not?
Yeah. Well, that's a big.
I'll take their word for it. Right?
All right. Well, we're going to leave that subject behind because the video, I think, spoke for itself. Well, we got you two guys here now. Now, Paula, you and I were talking before, that, like, you know, and we were going to have you on and talk about hair explosion and everything like that. But then you came today, and Tamara, you brought Tamara with
She
you.
does this to me all the time.
Yes, I do it all the time.
Now,
I'm here for moral support.
She's my moral
is she involved with the hair explosion
Yes,
as well?
she's half of her explosion, yes.
Okay, so what is hair explosion?
What about you?
Hair Explosion is a beauty and trade show
Okay.
tour that we have, Paula and myself have put together. We've constructed a show that we're going to be touring throughout the Caribbean and Europe early to mid 2014.
Yeah.
And what the show does is we bring new products into the market, hair products, beauty products, lifestyle products, and we're introducing it. We started with the Caribbean because we feel that the market there is in need of.
So it's not tapped yet.
Yes.
Not saturated, yeah.
Right. So we want to go there and touch in and basically give them what we have. Quality
Nice.
product, quality lifestyle, and we started with the Caribbean, and all of a sudden it turned out to be bigger than that. So
Yeah.
it really is now a hair explosion, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
isn't that wonderful? But you're saying lifestyle products, so is it strictly hair?
No.
No?
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's a lifestyle. I mean, hair explosion is about lifestyle. Whatever is big and better and healthy for you, healthy hair, healthy food, and I mean the healthy look.
Right.
So I mean, you know, people ask us, is it just hair product that you guys are distributing? We say no. There are other distributors who wants to maybe distribute natural product. And one thing that Hair Explosion is doing is that we're opening the market for companies who would not otherwise have the opportunity to distribute their product in the Caribbean. And given that we're from there, we have a lot of connection throughout.
That's great.
Yeah. Where are you guys from?
I am from Jamaica.
And I'm Trinidadian background. I'm Canadian, but my parents are from Trinidad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously you're going to be traveling there.
Yeah.
Do you guys have family and friends there? So
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
like a
We do.
reunion in a
Most
way
of my
too?
family's
Yeah.
there. I'm leaving shortly, so I'm excited.
Wow. So
I'm leaving
when?
the cold behind to you guys.
That's
the
good.
snow.
You're so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys picked the right time to do
Yes.
this.
I know.
She is going. She's leaving in 2 days and she's there till for 3 months. Because she goes out
No
to
wonder you're so happy.
Yeah,
I know,
she's
right?
happy.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna leave my parka for you.
No, Paula, you're from Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
Whereabouts?
I'm from St. Catherine. I know everybody says, oh, I'm from Kingston or Montego Bay. I'm not. I'm from St. Catherine.
Where is that?
It's close to, it's kind of like midway, like between Ocho Rios, it's not far from Ocho Rios, which is Ocho Rios, I believe it's central, I would say about
Is it in the
central.
middle or is it
Yes.
near the shore?
No, it's not near the shore.
It's in the middle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
have to travel 2 hours to get to the shore.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you going to get a chance to go as well?
Oh yes, I go
Okay.
down in March.
Okay, okay.
Well, that's perfect. You get to tour around the Caribbean in the winter when, you know, and do business and
do
have
business.
fun and
Yes,
stay
and
in the
have
warmth.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you going? Are you going to Jamaica? Are you going to
We're
Trinidad?
going
going
to
to Jamaica
Trinidad
too?
first, and then we're in the Bahamas, then we're in Jamaica, then we're in England, we're in Germany, and then we're in Guyana. And I mean, we don't know where else. I mean, we're next, but a lot of other islands are calling us because they want the product too and they want the show.
So is this like a mobile on wheels hair explosion? Like how is, I'm just trying to visualize what's
Okay, so picture this. I mean, I know that every year, right, in the United States, there's a show that's called the Obonna Brothers Hair Show, Hair and Trade Show.
Okay.
Here in Toronto, it is the
ABA.
Allied Beauty Show, ABA show. And so we're Obonna Brothers Allied Complete, right?
Okay.
But traveling. And so what happened is, how it works is that, say for example, you're Revlon.
Okay.
We
Oh,
contact you and we want to know if you would like to partner with us. Whereas the problem that we find and the complaint is that the stylists are saying that we don't have enough professional product. So what we do, we take the professional product to them, and so we represent you. And there are a lot of companies that are not able to distribute their product on the island because one, they don't have distribution, and some countries, you need to be a native to be a distributor. And so with Trinidad, namely, Tamara is Trinidadian, so we're going down to set up distribution as well. So, you know, if you really want to distribute your product, there's the means for you to do so. So we're making it possible for you.
So if I were to do what you're doing, because I'm not from there, I'd have a hard time.
You would have a hard time.
Okay.
But we know the market, and we do have contact on every island. We have distribution and people in that island.
Wow. So this sounds like it has taken a lot of work to get it to this point.
Yes.
How long have you guys been planning this and working? A year or my goodness?
Not even a year,
6 months.
about 6 months.
6 months. We've been planning it. But you know, it's like anything. I mean, we started, got to fine tune it, and then, you know, you write something, send it out, then you have to take it back and revamp it again. So it's always evolving, you know, every month, every day.
And were you guys working on it from the get-go together, or did one person start and bring somebody in?
Well, she always comes up with these bright ideas, you know. I just wanted to do hair. And she says, you know what, I think we should put together a big show. I'm like, yeah, Paula. I just want to do hair. And then it just blew up before, like it's bigger than us now. So, I mean, it's like, be careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah.
So now she has me working like around the
every
clock.
day. We work all night and day because, I mean, you know, success.
But you
hard work.
guys look like you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what does it look like? So you're going to go down to Trinidad. When are you going down?
I'm leaving in a few days.
Yeah.
I go down, I connect with the sponsors and the vendors. I look at the venue. I connect with the stylists and the people that own the beauty salons to let them know, hey, we're coming, this is what we're doing. We're providing them with workshops, we're providing them with seminars, you know, i.e. on like salonic management, things like that, you know, to upgrade their salons and bring it to a standard that we know that they can get to.
And maintain.
And maintain.
Okay.
So we're hoping that this will be annually. So we're kind of going there right now. It's the first show, and we kind of don't know what's going to happen. But the whole purpose is to have it be an annual event in the Caribbean, so that we're touring there every year and upgrading the stylists in the salons.
So when you say you tour, do you have, like, do you rent a hotel or a conference room, and so then you have all these hairstylists come to you? Is that how it works? Okay.
Yes, so there would be booths with different products.
Okay.
There would be seminars with cutting workshops where they can learn to cut and color and.
Wow, so you're doing a full Monty.
We're doing a full thing, and so the stylists are able to, and students. So it's open for our profession, right? It's open for stylists, it's open for salon owners, and it's open for students.
Wow.
So the students and stylists sign up. They go online or they sign up for classes. There's classes both days.
So who's giving the classes? How do you?
We have professional trainers. We have There's one of our master stylists that's coming from here.
Mary, yes.
And we have a stylist that is well known. He's in Trinidad, so he's on board. And then myself and Tamara. Like
So you guys are hairstylists?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
hairstylists
okay,
as well. And
okay.
I'm doing, one of the courses I'm teaching is salon management and client retention. Yeah, so
See, that's a whole nother part of the business that I don't think hairstyling school gives you.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't.
Right, it's-
So, I mean, what we're doing, honestly, like every person that we show this idea to or we talk to, they go, oh my God, this is a slam dunk. And it's like, you know, we don't have any competitors. We have no competition because nobody, it's a task that is huge and not many people want to take it on. Plus, I mean, we're in it for the long haul. And we know that it's needed, it's a need that we're meeting. At the same time, we're doing something that we love. And you get to travel.
And you get to travel.
Yeah.
I don't have to
And
be.
get out of the winter.
Exactly.
Wow, sounds like, so if I.
That's how she got me to start doing it. She promised me.
Look, she's
you
going
know,
away for 3
Yeah,
months.
she promised me warm winters. I said, okay then.
And I bet you haven't regretted, even in all this planning, I bet you haven't regretted a thing.
Well, no,
Tamara?
I come from a hairdressing background. My mom also owned a salon. I've been doing this all my life. So, I mean, the idea is always there, but then it was to find a team that could execute the plan. And now, I mean, I met Paula and she's been absolutely great in helping everybody to put together our dream. So it's here and we're doing it and we're excited.
So if I'm from Revlon, am I sending somebody from Revlon to tour with you guys?
It's a
For the
possibility.
booth? If you
It's a possibility. You
Okay.
can do that, but I mean,
Okay.
or you can trust us to represent you. We do have staff. We do have professional stylists that are
Okay.
qualified, or also color technician that will train if Revlon
Okay.
chooses. But if they choose to bring their own technician, and that's even better for us.
Okay.
Right, so we provide the platform for them. And I mean, a lot of companies said to us, so what is the benefit for us? I said, well, the benefit is that we're a vehicle providing this service to you. We're bringing you in front of a captive audience that you do not need to market. We're marketing for you. We're
Yeah.
the marketing tool for you to bring these people to you, for you to sell your product to and to distribute your product.
All they have to do is show.
Show
Yes,
up.
and a
That's it.
market that's basically, I wouldn't say untouched, but that's a new market. They get to provide their newest products to the islands where they're probably not there yet. So there's a whole group of people that want to know
Wow.
and want to be upgraded.
So in those suppliers, like I don't know who you would have, the hair supplier companies, are you finding that they are using your staff, or that they want to bring their own, or does it depend on which country you're in?
No, I mean, a lot of the companies that we have contacted, some of them have their distributor in the island already. So
Okay.
then they put us on to their distributor,
Okay,
then we
okay,
contact them,
okay.
and they ask, it's up to us.
Okay.
Based on their package also, because we have packages, we have different
Right.
level of packages, right? And they choose whatever package, and based on the package they choose, they may have their own presenter.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Now, are you still looking for, I guess sponsors
stuff.
or?
Oh,
course.
indeed, we're looking
Yeah.
for sponsors.
We're always looking.
We're always looking for sponsors. I mean, you know, it's an area where if someone have a new product, we're looking for new product too.
New product.
So if someone have a new product that they really want to market and want to market in another market, right, other than North America, because there's a whole new world out there other than here.
So
they're
you-
more than welcome to.
So you cover, I'm thinking, okay, so you're covering hair, you're probably covering face creams,
That's
Basically,
right.
we're covering
Makeup?
Aesthetics, makeup.
We're
Okay.
covering health. I
Jewelry.
mean, because
Oh,
people have said to us that, you know what, they have health product. We're doing the whole lifestyle. I mean, your
Right.
health, eat healthy, look healthy, all that stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, if someone want to come and say they want to present some healthy snacks or healthy
Right.
way of eating healthy, that's also a possibility.
so I suspect if you guys continue this year after year, it's going to be changing from being called hair explosion to maybe health explosion or something.
Something.
Something, but it started with here.
Lifestyle explosion.
Lifestyle
it could
style
be.
explosion,
Transcend
yeah.
into something else.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, I mean, you mentioned a couple of big names, big name companies, but it seems to me there's so many people now, smaller companies, individuals even, that are making products or
Yeah.
coming
Yes,
out with
and we've-
new approaches
Yes.
to everything, right? And
Yes.
I would think this is a great opportunity for Canadian companies in hair and lifestyle field to access a whole new market.
Yes.
Likewise, like myself, I just
That's right.
I have a new product on the line. I mean, my product Tri-Miracle. So also we're introducing Tri-Miracle.
What is that?
Tri-Miracle is Tri-Miracle is how do you say? It's a treatment and air food that for women who have had chemically treated hair, bleach hair, whatever, and it's damaged, the hair is damaged. What Tri-Miracle product does is almost snap the hair back to the natural state. So it's revitalize, replenish,
So it strips
restore.
of all the chemicals.
Not necessarily strip the chemical, but it's kind of bring the hair back to the normal pH, because after all that processing, the hair becomes very brittle and dry.
Okay.
So Tri-Miracle brings that back and make the hair very natural and bouncy.
Now, how did you go about creating a product like that, Paula? How did you go to a lab and experiment with these science people?
No, you don't need to experiment with these science people. I've been in the industry over 25 years, and after working with product, we know chemistry, we know product. I was looking for something for myself, and I thought, you know what? We need to find a product that works, not just work for just one hair type, but work right across the board. And, from studying, from working with hair is hair. Doesn't matter what color you are, where you are, the hair is the same thing. Some people have curly hair, some people, you know what I mean? So you need to find, I decided that I'm going to make a product that, I was trying to find something for a growth formula actually. And it happened because it's also a growth formula. I can't sell it as such, but it is.
It's a growth formula.
That's a secret. That's
a secret part of it. But
why can't you sell it like that?
Well, I can't.
That's what
Long
makes
story, but you can't. You really cannot.
Because you can't make a claim. Is that the idea? Oh.
But it does. It does. That's one of the benefits.
Okay. Like psychics who say this is for entertainment purposes only, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly. Like that.
Same concept.
Okay.
But Tri-Miracle is doing. I had it tested for like 6 months. I gave it to many women who have had hair loss, and women who were having problem with their hair breaking and all that, and the result is astounding.
So does this work on men too?
Yes, ma'am.
And does this work on? Would this be good for women who have had surgery or cancer and have lost their hair?
If the hair
like after chemo or something
completely gone, yes. If it's completely gone because of maybe shock or trauma or, like you say, cancer, the hair will grow back after cancer, but it helps.
Okay. Wow. Amazing.
So what do you guys do in Canada when you're not traveling the Caribbean? Like, do you guys, besides invent new products
Planning the next trip
do
to the
hairstyling?
Caribbean? I know.
We make good-looking people look better. So
what about the non-good-looking people, though?
we make
help them.
We make them look better too.
We're all beautiful in God's eyes, right?
We make them look better. Yeah.
We're just a little more beautiful now.
Yeah,
That's all.
right.
Okay, guys. Sorry. Go ahead.
We're stylists here in Toronto. I have my own line of hair and wigs and eyelashes, and Paula does too. So we sell our products.
You guys are just such entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we do have product for like you asked earlier, for cancer patient. We have
okay.
She could talk about
we have what I specialize in is it's called After Cancer Hair Replacement Unit.
Yeah.
It's a wig that we provide to cancer patients after they've had chemo. So we go in before their chemo, because if you know the process of chemo, it takes about 2 weeks for everything for the hair to come out. So we go in before they have the chemo, we match up their hair color exactly, and we have the wig custom made. So it takes about 10 days. So by the time the wig is ready, their hair is
so
all
the timing is perfect.
Yeah, the timing is perfect
and
because it's traumatic for them.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So we try to get the wig to them right after, so they don't have to deal with the stress of seeing themselves bald. So that's one of the things that we do here in Canada, and one of the wigs that we provide on our line. So that's working out really well.
Wow.
So now, we mentioned, so you're looking for more sponsors. If there are people that want to get their product exposed down in the Caribbean and in England and in Germany, right?
In Germany.
Then they can get in touch with you guys. And what's the website for Hair Explosion? All the way to the-
www.hairexplosioninc.com.
.com. Okay, now do you guys have your own websites or contact information as well for your salons or your business here in Toronto?
My email is nayasalonandspa@gmail.com. That's NYIAH salonandspa@gmail.com.
Is that, does that mean anything?
Her daughter.
That's my daughter's name. Yeah, I had a salon.
Beautiful
Yeah, I have a
name.
salon. I had a salon and I named it after my daughter.
Wow.
My website is, I have a few websites. Try Miracle.
What, TRI?
TRY.
TRY?
Yeah, Try
Miracle.
Try Miracle is not quite, you can view the site, but it's not live yet.
But it might be in the future when
It
people are
will
watching
be,
this
it
on
will
YouTube.
be live, yes, it will be
Right.
live short, yes.
Try Miracle, what?
TryMiracle.com.
.com. Okay.
And
Great.
my email, Paula.
Paula?
Dot Eriya, ERIYA, 74 @gmail.com.
Okay. Did we talk about everything, guys? We want to hear about your trip when you come back.
Yeah,
Can you
you
take
know
some
what?
video
Maybe take
and
some
then like
pictures.
come
I'm
back and
coming
we'll.
off the plane with the camera. Like
Okay.
I'm starting the trip in the airport. I'm gonna end it at the beach.
That would be so. We would love to.
Just don't send it to us, via email when it's a snowstorm here, okay?
No, you guys will be sending me back to snowstorm. I'll be at the beach saying, sorry guys.
Are you going to St. Martin?
Take that.
Yeah, we want to go
Are
there
you?
too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we would. My friend was just there,
There's
and she
talks
came
of
back and she
Turks and
said, "You
Caicos, so-
need to go to St. Martin." You know what I mean?
Are you going to go this year, maybe?
We
No,
hope
no,
so.
not this year. No, next year.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Alright,
gotta
guys.
take. We
Oh,
have
you
to
want to
rest.
go?
I want to go there
He's
too.
just- he wants-
Maybe
yeah,
we can
he's
go
thinking he
hang
can hire
out.
you
Yeah, there.
To do hair.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. We definitely want to go there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all beautiful down there, right?
I know.
I know. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
This
Thank
was
you so
fun.
much,
Have
guys.
fun. Have a fun
Good
trip.
luck.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna just take a break now. Veronica Domingues is here. We got a video right now. Let's watch. Let's watch number 4. Keep on, and we'll come back with Veronica right after this. We'll be right back.
No more cussing, right? That.
No, this one is normal language.
Those guys are messing. Why was he so upset?
I knew it then, know it now, knew somehow. Those lovely eyes, no surprise, can't deny. Conversation, relaxation, his voice so sweet. Every single time he gets me weak inside, and you can tell me I ain't falling in love. If I am dreaming, I don't wanna wake up. He holds me tightly, and that's more than enough. And when he kisses me, I just lose my mind. Keep
that same old feeling. Keep on.
Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on.
Keep that same old feeling. Keep on.
Won't let me down, don't make me frown. He is the one to make me smile, feel good inside, to recognize the way I feel just seems so real, so beautiful in every single way. He brightens up my day, and you can tell me I ain't falling in love. If I am dreaming, I don't wanna wake up. He holds me tightly, and that's more than enough. And when he kisses me, I just lose my mind. Keep that same old feeling. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on.
All right, so there's a, well, that song's what? Keep On by
Yes.
Veronica Domingues, and we have you here.
What a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody was freaking out in the
Wow.
studio
I
here.
like that.
Wow.
So,
Domingues?
Domingues.
What is your nationality?
Portuguese.
Wow.
I know I get Spanish a lot because of
That's-
the
yeah.
Dominguez. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not a Z, it's with an S. So.
But it's not Dominguez.
Dominguez.
Okay.
Dominguez, yeah.
Okay.
so you just did a big show. Where was that?
It was at Revival, and I did it with my band, and I have a 9-piece band.
Yeah.
9.
Yes, and they are absolutely amazing. It took like about a year to get them all together, of course, just seeing who fit well and who, I mean, because like, you know, there's always going to be egos in the way, and just trying to perfect, you know, the sound and the band, and they're just amazing. I'm so happy with them.
So what did you do? Did you just fire the people that had ego problems?
No, we just wanted to, how do I say? We wanted to make sure it was the right fit for the sound of the music,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like having a rock player, it didn't really work because I wanted them to bring the soul that they had, right? So.
So did you do all this?
Yes.
So you're like, what's his name?
I don't know.
I mean, you're to manage all that. That's a huge project.
Yeah, like I
right?
have my manager as well who's helping me out, but with the band, like I know most of them, and it was a lot of hard work. So
is it all men? But like how many
No.
women and how many?
So we have the drums, Shawn, the keyboard is Mark, saxophone and trombone, 2 men as well. And then after the lead guitar, the bass, and the backup vocalists are all women.
Okay, okay.
Which I love, of course.
And how do you deal with the egos?
Honestly, you just have to, I just tell them, you gotta put it aside and just,
Okay.
it's about the music. When you come into this room, any negativity, you need to keep it outside because, you know, you feed off of it and you don't want that. You just want positivity in the room, right? And that's what creates, you know, good music.
Did you have to make that speech when they walked in the room, like a coach would
No,
in
I
the
can't.
dressing room?
You know, leave a sign. Egos left. Egos. No need. No room for egos here, or egos leave outside.
No,
Hang up your ego out here.
it's just telling them all in a group because I mean, if you're gonna step aside and like tell them one by one, it's kind of like, so just, you know, just do it all at once. Get it out of the way.
Now, how did you find these 9 players?
Some of them were through my manager, and then some of them were through me. So I mean, like when I had like my keyboard player, I met him at a show that I did, and he just came up to me. He's like, "Love your voice," and then, you know, it just ended up.
Can we
being
work
one of the
together?
players. Yeah, pretty much.
Very nice.
So you did. That's a big show, the revival,
It was,
right?
yeah, I was the headliner for the show, and it was amazing. Like, just, I love the energy that the people give. So it's like, I feed off of that, and it just gives me more energy, so I'm like, all like pumped up on stage. And then when it finishes, I'm like, really, it's done? Like, I just want to keep going. I have so much more energy, and then I get off, and I'm like, I want to go back on.
So that gives you incentive to plan another one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So are you planning the other one, the next one already?
Well, not right now, but we're going to be doing another one next year. So right now, we're just focusing a lot on like videos coming out. And like I just finished shooting a music video that's going to be coming out sometime in February.
Which one? What's that one?
It's called I Get High.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Is that obvious what it's about?
It's a little obvious, but it's more so getting high in the like like with my music.
Okay.
Like
yeah, it's a natural high.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Now, is this all from a CD? Do you have a CD out?
Yes,
currently?
I do. Just Chill.
Yeah.
Just Chill.
I love these titles. Getting High, Just Chill.
Yeah. Honestly, for the whole purpose of Just Chill was, I felt as if you know, I mean, everybody loves going out and having fun and stuff like that, but I always feel like you always need this, like a moment to yourself to, you know, to treat yourself, to just relax and just like kind of forget about the entire world and, you know, just have a moment to yourself, you know, drink some wine and just, you know, rest. And the music that I created, it has that atmosphere, so.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Wow, it just, these young kids are so mature for their age.
That's because they're indigo or star
Yeah.
children from the future.
It took me a lot longer than 24 to get to that level of awareness.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
So good for you. Even the fact that you
Thank you.
talk about egos. I mean, I didn't even know what the heck that was at 24. I was just so involved in it.
Are you a star child?
I think so.
Okay, so this now, is this your first CD, or do you have other ones out
It's
before
it's
this
my
one?
first one, my very first one.
And are you happy with it?
I'm so happy with it. It took like 2 years to create it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long
And
time.
yeah,
And that song we heard, Keep
Keep
On, was
On.
from there, right?
Yes, it
Okay.
was. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so there's the Just Chill, and starting January, we're actually gonna start working on my next CD. But the difference is we're not using like someone's production. Instead, I'm creating the songs without any music, and then I'm gonna have my keyboard player playing to my voice, and then we're gonna have my band producing it in the studio. So I'm super excited about that. So like, there's no samples in it or anything, and it's more personal for me, I think.
Is this considered raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So what's your game plan in terms of, like, even it's anybody's guess how the whole music industry works these days with airplay and commercial success and record sales and that kind of thing?
Honestly, it's really hard. Like right now, it's definitely difficult because I'm with the soul music. I'm always compared to like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, and especially in Toronto, it's definitely difficult to get it out there because most of the time they want commercial music, they want pop, and I tried pop one time and it just sounded terrible. Like it was just not me because the soul kept creeping up, and it just sounded like soul pop or something.
Well,
but
what do you call pop? Because pop could be almost
I guess more like dance music, and I love dance music, but
it's just not your thing to
perform.
perform.
I love being raw with my voice, and I love
exposing your soul.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why doesn't that catch on as a hit or as a popular?
I think it's just what they play nowadays, like on the radio. It's basically most of the same stuff, right? So I definitely don't fit into that category. I've tried submitting stuff to Much Music 3 times already to some radio stations, and it's just been shut down after shut down. But for me, it's that's fine. It's just because they don't want to play it just because they know it's good music. So you know,
I'm detecting a little bit of ego here.
Hey, what are you gonna turn down good music for? So.
Yeah, why are they turning down the good music?
I don't know.
Veronica?
I don't know. For me though, I've noticed in the UK, they're so much more supportive.
I was going to ask you. I bet you Europe, even probably Latin America, France, because there's a lot of soul in
there is,
or feel a lot of
no, there is,
here.
and that's also why when you said Latin America, I speak Portuguese, of course. One of my songs is Portuguese, so I created a Portuguese soul song, which I don't really hear much, but it sounds so good, and it's on the Just Chill as well. So.
Are you getting airplay in Portugal?
No.
You probably could. No, seriously. We had another Portuguese background. They had a rock band. And
really?
And from Toronto, but they were getting airplay and hit coverage in Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Even though it was in English.
I've had a rock band though, so they're.
Still.
I've had just a few in Brazil, but most of my airplay does come from in the UK. I have a lot of support there. So.
Have you toured there at all?
No, we're working on that. So.
Why don't you hook up with Paula and Tamara?
I am. I am.
That's great.
The other thing is, how about the TLN network here, Tele Latino Network? Wouldn't they be open to receiving
Portuguese? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know because it's not Spanish. There was Spanish, right?
Well, yeah. I think isn't there a bit? Isn't there some flexibility? I thought that maybe.
I don't know. I never really.
You look Spanish, so that does it for me.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
No, but I never looked into that. I should though.
Because you never know if they have any. They do a lot of outdoor events.
Yeah.
Maybe you can perform at one of them. They have
nice.
They have something called salsa on St. Clair now. It's salsa bands and stuff like that. But who knows if they use might use also just regular entertainment kind of things.
Yeah.
Or any other events that they might have that you might share your
Definitely.
music, because you are a big show band kind of style,
Yeah.
right? So it'd be really.
I think that's what
conducive
it
to
is.
that.
A lot of people are intrigued by that. They're drawn to the musicians and how well they play and just how good it sounds.
So do you have any other shows scheduled at this point?
Right now, no. We're just working on videos and stuff that are coming out and just preparing for that and
So
rehearsals.
since we're coming to the end of the year, do you have goals for next year? Obviously to finish up some videos,
year,
but
I really want to tour. Like that's one of my main things. Like I just love to be on stage. That's like where my home is really. To tour, and right now I'm actually crossing my fingers because we submitted for the Junos. So I'm hoping, like even like for me, I'm just blessed, like even to submit, I'm blessed to do that. Just to even be like, nominated, it's another blessing. That would be like so awesome. Like I don't even have to win. I just something.
Wait, did you get nominated?
No,
that sounds different than submitting.
No. I'm saying for me to be able to just submit. That's like
you're at a certain stage. If
Yeah.
you can actually submit, it means you've had a project.
Exactly.
It means you've had a
we
certain
only
level
find
of work.
we only find out in February whether or not we got nominated. So. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
So now this CD, Just Chill. When was that released?
That was released in May 10th.
In May.
Yeah.
And so I guess you sell them at shows and stuff like that?
Yes,
I do.
do.
People reacting well to it? It sounds great.
Yeah, like everyone
Yeah.
just, they really appreciate the wanting to bring the soul back and, just that feel-good music.
Okay.
I really like the fact that you're not doing something that is so mainstream and typical of a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see somebody who's going a little deeper
Yeah.
and against the mainstream, in spite of the fact that you're challenged
Yeah.
in a big way because you're not
For
doing the
sure.
main rock. So
But at the same time, I feel like that will make me stand out a bit more too.
Absolutely.
Just to be different from other artists, right?
So you're sticking to your truth, though, and that's
Yes,
really,
I always
really
will.
good.
Always will.
So, and you're starting to work on the new record in January, right?
Yes, in
so
January.
when can we expect that one to come out?
Well, the other one took 2 years, so I really wouldn't know at this point. I just know we're going to be starting it in January. So
Maybe you can come back and perform for
Of
us. And bring maybe
course.
not the full band. We could fit the full band.
Yeah, let's have
We
the full
could.
band.
Yeah.
The full band. That was so nice.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. So, well, okay, Veronica, thanks for coming in today. If people want to follow up and get your CD or just keep, find out about your next show and stuff
My
like that.
website,
Yeah.
veronicadomingues.com.
Okay, that's easy to remember.
You need to do some
Yeah.
outdoor summer events.
I do.
Well, we'll wait till summer.
Well, no, you got to start planning them now.
Or we could follow her down to the Caribbean with
We
Paula.
could do that.
Oh, that would be great.
What you should do is plan a summer tour, and you go wherever it's summer in the world.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. Actually, then I wouldn't feel cold at all.
Then you could stay here in the summertime. Then you would go to Australia when it's winter here, because it's summer over there, right? That's how it works.
I don't even know.
Wherever it is, summer.
Summer. Just go there.
Yeah.
Okay, Veronica, so we got another video now, Catch Me When I Fall. What's the story of this song in this video?
Actually, my director surprised me with it because at first when we shot it, there was only the main scenes, which was with me in it. And then my good friend Joshua Tubbs, known as Customatic, he decided to put a story behind it. And it almost it does relate with me, but it also relates with everyone else where, you always have problems that you're going to go through, but at the end of the day, you always have somebody who's going to be there for you no matter what. So.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, thank you for
That's
coming in today, and we're going to see the video right now.
Good luck. Keep the spirit.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're going to come back with Shawn Dalton right after this, so we'll be right back.
So many nights, so many times, you were answer to my call. I turn off the lights, but still shining bright. You would catch me when I fall, right by my side. my car. I turn off the lights, but still shining bright. You would catch me when I fall. Right by my side, just chill through the ride. You were with me at my all. And now that I see how we ought to be, you still catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall. I fall. Catch me when I fall. You catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall. I fall. Catch me when I fall. You catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. So convinced of all the things I needed in those days. Then I open up my eyes. I finally realized that the times was harder when I pushed you far away. And your love made me stronger after I got locked away. So many times you were answer to my call. I turn off the lights, but still shining bright. You would catch me when I fall. Right by my side, just chill through the ride. You were with me at my all. And now that I see how we ought to be, you still catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. 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 You catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall, catch me when I fall, fall. Catch me when I fall, catch me when I fall, fall. Catch me when I fall, catch me when I fall, fall. Catch me when I fall, catch me when I fall, fall.
Catch me when I fall.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful sound.
Yes.
Did you see how long her hair was here? That her hair grew from that length in the video to this in like 6 months. That's amazing.
Well, maybe she's using one of those hair products that Paula invented.
Maybe she is.
You know?
Wow. And that beautiful, maybe she's using Tri-Miracle because her hair was so nice and straight.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Now, Shawn, we have Shawn Dalton here on the show today.
Hello, Shawn.
Shawn.
Hi.
Again.
Hi. Great to have you back.
Yeah.
See, look, we got your thing up there, Shawn.
Look,
Well
Shawn.
done.
And they spelled your name right.
Well, thank you kindly.
They
God
better
bless you
spell
guys.
their names right.
It's still under content management structures being restructured, so
Your
the
name?
website's not active.
I know,
still.
but when people watch this in the future,
Oh.
right, it'll all be fantastic.
Everything in the future is fantastic.
I know. I know. That's what Sandra says.
Yeah. Well, it might not be so fantastic for Quebec. They're fighting about their cultural values, and that's why we're going to do a part 2, because...
Excellent segue, Shawn.
Yeah. So I've selected small articles here. They're actually changed the name of it. Bill 60, previously referred to as Quebec's Charter of Values, is actually going to be called the Charter Affirming the Values of Secularism and the Religious Neutrality of the State, as well as the equality of men and women and the framing of accommodations requests. Quebec likes to have long bills to...
It sounds like they're killing all the critics before they even get a chance to get started.
It's a tongue twister. Harper's government reacted immediately. Tim Uppal, the Minister of State for Multiculturalism, said, quote, "Our government's job is to make everyone who lives in this country and shares our values feel at home in this country and have equal opportunity to be proud and fully contributing Canadians." Now he says, who shares our Canadian values. That doesn't include gender discrimination.
Who said that?
Tim Uppal. He's the Minister for Multiculturalism for Stephen Harper.
Oh.
You know.
So what, he's supporting the Quebec Charter?
No, he's
values?
against it. They have to be
Oh.
against it because
Okay.
Harper's trying to maintain his majority. The NDP is in an interesting position. The last time we talked about varying positions at the NDP members. This gentleman is, it says, in response to the Charter of Values being tabled in Quebec, multiculturalism critic Andrew Cash, he's from Davenport, he's the MP.
He used to be a musician too.
Is that Andrew Cash?
Yeah, the musician Andrew Cash.
I love him.
I know, he did that.
Wow.
Well, now he's an NDP, a Quebec MP. Reaffirmed the NDP's commitment to protect minority religious rights. He said, quote, as we remember our veterans in the month of November, including those who fought with their turbans in both World War I and World War II, it is unacceptable for a nurse, doctor, or teacher to be told they will lose their job, I guess, for wearing their turban or headscarf, added Cash.
It is unacceptable that they will lose their job. When was this?
This was recently, November 14th, 2013, on the 6th page.
And Quebec is looking to change the law now, right? And they passed the first.
It's just a proposal. Like, that's what, like.
But they've passed the first ruling or something?
Well, they introduced the idea of the Quebec Charter values.
So it's gone past the first test, correct? It's to be discussed now, right?
Yeah, they're debating it. They're finding out if they can support the whole thing or they're going to water it down. Like, that's still on for debate.
The very fact that it is being discussed, it's made it past the first step to actually be discussed means that
I went to a U of T debate by fluke. Like, I didn't know they were having it. They were debating the Charter of Values, and this thing ended in 20 minutes in a melee. They were yelling at each other. Gender discrimination got brought up. People said, if you want to wear your headscarf, why don't you do it in the Middle East? Like, someone yelled at someone else. Someone else said to the other person, this is a free country, and then someone else goes, you're not free to discriminate. Like, they were, the moderators stopped the debate, and I was sitting there watching it.
But wait a second, is that?
So that's, I mean, that's an interesting story all on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you end, first of all, can we hear that story? How did you end up there by fluke?
Well, I was doing my research at the Woodsworth College, and it just so happens they were having there was a sign saying, debate on Quebec Charter. I just
Get out of town. You just happened to be there.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
So you
funny.
went, and then it degenerated into a...
Well, not right away, about 15 minutes in, like, when they talked about the headscarf and the burqa, like, people started talking over top of other students, and it just...
But okay, so do you really think it's gender discrimination or religious?
It's gender discrimination. If you hide the ability of a woman to express herself openly in our society because of your religious preference, because of some radical idea.
But that's a religious. So that's. I mean, this.
It's still gender discrimination, Sandra. Gender discrimination is gender discrimination.
Okay, so what if a person wants to wear a male wants to wear their Sikh turban?
Well, obviously on a construction site, or they want to drive a motorcycle, that's going to be a problem. It's a safety issue.
No, but is this challenging that as well?
It is. It's challenging all these kinds of things.
So to me, that doesn't seem like gender discrimination. To me, that seems like a religious discrimination. They're saying that you're being discriminating based on your religion.
I don't think they're discriminating at all, Sandra. They moved to this country.
No.
They have to adjust to our way of life and our values. If they decide to try to contravene our laws, then they're going to do it at their own risk, and they're going to get the backlash they deserve, right? Because safety is a priority on the motorcycle or on a construction site.
What I'm saying is, from our position, they would be the ones. I think what Quebec is doing is saying that we are discriminating against. There's discrimination. There's favoritism, basically, by saying you're allowed to wear that. I think that's what the whole challenge is.
Imagine I went to India and asked for a Christian school or
Shawn,
them to speak the English language,
it.
but I'm just putting it in a different scenario. What if I went to Brazil and said, I don't want to speak Spanish. Why don't you guys speak my language? It sounds silly, right? It sounds ridiculous. What if I went to France and said,
No, I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it either way. What I'm saying is you mentioned the word gender discrimination.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that doesn't seem like a gender thing to me. That seems like a religious thing, because we're saying the same thing with men who wear turbans, right? So it's about the religious belief. Yes, they may have gender discrimination in that religious belief, but we're saying you shouldn't be able to wear that burqa based on your religion, not on your gender.
That's a good point, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. I'm just going to... Have you guys heard of the long-time Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, in Canada, 2006? This book was released 2 weeks ago. It's 10 days old.
Wow.
So I'm going to read...
You got 40% off.
I did, yeah. This is Chapter 9, Rise Up, Sea of Trouble. I'm going to read a little passage about the NDP and why the NDP has always been influenced by Quebec. Okay. It says the, quote, the NDP's attempt to reach out to Quebec francophones was as old as the party itself. Since the 1930s, the party's predecessor, the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation, had supported only among Quebec's Anglophone Montrealers. Francophones saw it as a creature of English Canada. The Archbishop of Montreal warned Roman Catholics not to support this socialist menace. And that socialist menace is now running around Europe. I mean, in France, the Socialist Party just got reelected. At the NDP's founding convention in 1961, organizers were so happy to see a few Francophone nationalists show up that they basically let them write the party's constitutional policy. Were you guys aware of that? I wasn't aware of that either. I was really surprised. The results included very Quebec-friendly language on cooperative federalism, equality of rights for the French and English languages, the right of a province to opt out of joint federal-provincial programs, which Quebec had the, off the charter. They had that they didn't have to basically agree. They could nullify the charter if they want. They have the ability to do that, actually. That's why they didn't actually sign the charter.
Wow, okay.
Programs within provincial jurisdiction without financial penalty, and the recognition of French Canada as, quote, a nation, which Harper reinforced when he said Quebec is a nation within Canada. He was trying to make them feel like they're part of the whole thing, without actually, of course, giving them the idea that they could be their own country, which is really tricky. Michael Oliver and Charles Taylor wrote in the 1991 book, Our Canada, the party's first president, associate president, and vice president were Quebec francophones. So that's the
NDP party.
Yeah, it's the NDP party.
Wow.
You guys remember the turban issue?
Mm-hmm.
You guys mentioned the turban. I picked this up at the Indian Journal. I don't know where they published this. I picked it up in a McDonald's. I just picked it up. I was drinking my tea.
Wow.
So I read everything. So
You just have a very serendipity life. You just happen to be these places.
I'm a
just drop in front of
Sandra. It's my.
I know, but who would think you would find a research piece at McDonald's with your coffee or tea?
Yeah.
Like, that's just. I think they find you, Shawn.
So this guy's wrote an article called "I'm Leaving Quebec" on Friday, October 25th, 2013. Gurbaj Multani, who made headlines after a landmark victory before the Supreme Court of Canada over his right to wear his ceremonial dagger to school, which is called the kirpan, of course.
I want one of those.
The soft-spoken Sikh, an accounting student at Concordia University, has his name on a 2006 Supreme Court of Canada ruling that broke new ground for religious freedom throughout the country. The entire court supported his right to wear a kirpan, a ceremonial dagger, to school as long as it was sewn into his clothes. And he said, why would I have to choose between my religion and my job? As a boy, he was kept from school for 5 months over his wearing of it. Then he won the right of Quebec Superior Court. Quote, that was a little bit discouraging. They don't even know who I am. Quebec hasn't been able to move on in the 7 years since it exploded in an anger when Supreme Court Justice Louis Charon, a Franco-Ontarian, wrote a ringing endorsement of Mr. Multani's rights. 94% of French-speaking Quebecers and 79% of non-French-speaking Quebecers were opposed. So most people in the country didn't agree with his right to wear the dagger. Quote, a lot of people couldn't get their head around the fact that the kirpan isn't dangerous, says Hugo Siri, a law professor at the University of Quebec in Montreal. And before I move on, I read in Lowell Green's Mayday, Mayday, how there was a fight in a Sikh Gurdwara, and they took their kirpans out, and 3 people went to the hospital because they started slashing each other with these knives. There's instances where it has become used as a weapon, and it could be used as a weapon. It's a weapon of opportunity. And if you're angry and you have it.
I want a ceremonial.
You want a dagger, eh?
I want a ceremonial armor-piercing machine gun.
Yeah, well, if you move to the States, I'm sure you can buy a tank, too. There's a guy in the States who drives around a tank.
Yeah, but they'll put a red sticker on my mailbox.
They will, but you'll still be able to drive around the tank free.
Well, you'll be able to drive around the FEMA grounds.
Yeah, you can drive around the FEMA grounds here. You can take pictures.
I'm sure they'll have some extra coffins left over. We can get started on that cat shelter
No, those are all
project.
for the cats.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the cat shelters. That's what the coffins are for now.
So Mr. Multani and his kirpan have had an enormous influence on his province. The Charter of Values proposed by the governing Parti Québécois is partly an attempt to let the majority set the rules for reasonable accommodation. The majority means the citizens who live in Canada, of course. It's about time the majority had a voice at their own table, and it's ridiculous. It's becoming ridiculous. And take back those rules from the judges who were perceived to have botched the job with Mr. Multani. Belgit Dillon fought for his right to wear a turban in the RCMP. He too faced opposition. More than 250,000 people signed a petition against allowing a turban on a Mountie. The federal government changed its rules for him in 1990, and when 2 fellow Mounties fought the change in court over the next 5 years, they lost. Quote, the RCMP stood by my side, he says. It's kind of hypocritical. 250,000 didn't want, they wanted the Stetson, of course. I can't speak enough about the RCMP, and I can't speak enough about Canada, the doormat. A fight over religious symbol helped bring the Multanis to Canada. Balveer Multani came to Canada 17 years ago, and this is the irony, from the Punjab province of India, because of a religious conflict that began, he says, with a comment his Hindu boss made about his beard. So he's a shit disturber in India, and he came to Canada, and he's a shit disturber in Canada. So
And he wins the right to.
yeah, and he changed our law. And
Only in Canada.
only in
eh?
Canada, The sun god.
We're too
is
damn
here.
nice.
We are. We're
We're
doormat
just too damn
Sandra. We don't
nice.
have any standards. We're becoming a joke country. That's why 9
A
countries.
Joe
in
or a
Europe,
joke?
A joke country.
Yeah.
We
okay.
don't
And
have
a Joe country.
So, what's even funnier is what Justin Trudeau said in a co-op on Canadian politics in the South Asian Times. Read some of what he said. He said, Premier Marois unveiled her government's much-anticipated plan to legislate values in Quebec. As I have said since the PQ first announced this plan back in 2012 election campaign, I categorically oppose it. What does categorically mean?
Nobody
if you
knows.
categorically oppose something, does that mean you oppose the whole thing, oppose part of it? Do you metaphorically support it? Do you literally?
I think that means you oppose the whole thing, but why can't you just say you oppose it?
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
No, I think he saw it on television and he thought he'd use it.
Categorically. Yeah, maybe it's a word he thought it would make him sound smart, Trudeau Jr.
He just learned it that day, and
Yeah,
he
it
wanted
sounds
to find
like,
a sentence
absolutely,
to
it
use
sounds
it.
like Trudeau Jr. Actually did learn about the word categorically. I would never use that word. I think it's foolish.
I've used it, but only categorically.
Oh, well, I categorically agree.
I know how to spell it.
Like our fellow Canadians elsewhere, we Quebecers, notice he never says we Canadians. We Quebecers are open, positive people. We believe in defending one another's freedoms, not in restricting them. I have great faith in the people of my home province. The PQ government's plan is divisive, and it's the ultimate wedge politics, in my opinion. Like, this will either get the PQ a majority or destroy them. So it's an all or nothing thing. Negative and emotional. It is designed to be that way. Quebecers will reject it. And he obviously didn't see those statistics where most Quebecers actually supported it. I got into public life in part because I believe that politics can be done differently. It could be less petty and more transparent. Remember when he made those statements recently that a communism would allow Canada to have greater environmental laws? And then the Chinese Society for Democracy asked him to come and apologize for that.
Yeah.
So,
they weren't the only ones.
well, they were really angry. People from Russia were asking for an apology.
Of
People from
course.
Cuba were asking for an apology.
Yeah.
Communism's dangerous. Candor, especially during tense moments like this one, is risky but necessary. There's no question that our government and our institutions must be neutral and secular. Church and state must be separate. Quebecers and all Canadians have built a society that is the envy of the world because we have succeeded in making diversity an immeasurable asset. A Sikh or Jewish man, a Muslim woman, or a woman who wants to wear a crucifix larger than the Parti Québécois dictates should not have to choose between their religious belief and their economic well-being. These symbols do not detract from our great pride as French Quebecers. Again, he doesn't say he's a Canadian, so that's the second time he said. He didn't say he was a Canadian, he says he's a French Quebecer or a Quebecer. They do not diminish our ability to live and flourish in French, nor do they prevent us from passing on to our children the extraordinary richness of our language and our culture. He doesn't mention the English language, it's singular, and English is the dominant language of the country, but his mind is in Quebec, so you can't blame him. He was raised by a dad that taught him that Quebec is superior to the rest of the country. So he's a victim of his own upbringing, I guess. Quebecers and Canadians deserve better than this. I have confidence that Quebecers will demand better than this, and so should you. Justin Trudeau is the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. This is what they're actually concerned about, the seriousness of the problems with this reasonable accommodation. It's more than just, the clothing or whatever. Would Quebec be able to deliver true multiculturals? And this was written by Tahir Gora in Hamilton in Society, September 12, 2013, so one day after September 11th.
What paper is this in?
This is the South Asian Generation Next.
Okay.
And he said, I'm going to read some excerpts from what he said. NDP leader Thomas Mulcair and Liberal leader Justin Trudeau are denouncing the Quebec government's move, but their MPs from Quebec are not as vocal as their leaders themselves are. Remember in the last debate I mentioned the contradictions. Because polls suggest that the proposed ban on religious symbols got a majority support, and the Parti Québécois know this. Quebec's minister responsible for the status of women, Agnes Meletes, said that the media that the PQ government is against the sexism of speakers. She was probably implying to a French Islamic cleric Nader Abu Anas, who was invited in the conference and who happened to make comments in the past stating that a woman refusing to wear a headscarf was worse than having cancer or AIDS. Does multiculturalism mean to blend all cultures in one pot or keep all ethnic communities separated from each other? According to the Department of Canadian Heritage definition, quote, multiculturalism ensures that all citizens can keep their identities, can take pride in their ancestry, and have a sense of belonging. But belong to what? To one's own ethnic community or to Canadian society? Visible ethnic communities such as Chinese, South Asian, Arab, Black, and South American communities are all across Canada, congregated mainly in big cities such as Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, and Hamilton. But the Canadians from or descended from European Caucasian nations who have long had a strong feeling of, quote, owning this country, raised the question and concerns, quote, hey, we have made the rules and laws of this land. Hello, newcomers, welcome. But make no mistake, stoning or burning women alive won't be tolerated, and faces are not to be covered except at Halloween. Now, I mentioned that as a joke in another debate. In our multicultural mosaic, none of these ethnic communities except Muslims have fundamental clashes with Canadian values, such as women's liberties, openness, separation of religion from community, or questioning religious scripture. When someone proposes Sharia law for the sake of multiculturalism, or one-sided organizations start talking about the obligations or rights of women to wear veils on their faces, our multiculturalism advocates become confused and try to figure out what's wrong, what's gone wrong. In fear of being accused of racism, they don't speak out. That's the Huffington Post. And do you guys remember Tariq Fatah?
Oh, yeah.
Chasing a Mirage, the Tragic Illusion of Islamic State. He was the head of the Canadian Muslim Congress.
We've had him here on ThatChannel.
Yeah, so 2009 he released this book. I'm going to read a section from chapter 14, The Islamist Agenda in the West. And this will shock every person on this show. This is what he said. It was a cold January morning in 2003 as I walked through ankle-deep icy snow in the Toronto Convention Centre. I was attending a conference of Muslims arranged by groups allied to the Saudi-based World Assembly of Muslim Youth, or WAMI. The freezing temperatures and the frosty welcome I received at the hands of the young Islamists had not prepared me for the chilling lecture I was about to hear. The speaker, a Kuwaiti politician, said, quote, Western civilization is rotten from within and near collapse. It, the West, will continue to grow until an outside force hits it, and you'll be surprised at how quickly it falls. The crowd burst into applause. Just 16 months beforehand, an outside force, quote, had hit the New York Twin Towers on 9/11, killing 3,000 people, of course. And here was Tariq al-Suwaidian, a member of the Muslim Brotherhood from Kuwait, rubbing salt into the wounds of the West. The audience of more than 2,000 young Canadian Muslims, many of them associated with the Muslim Student Association, carefully segregated into male and female sections, listened in awe. Suwaidian used elaborate charts to draw projections about the impending collapse of the West. Imagine how Tariq was feeling, like, in a shocked, having to listen to this, because he's a really cool guy, He's a really progressive person. He loves Canada and its values. His words were worrisome, but the response to his speech by the young Muslim Canadians was deeply troubling. They lustily cheered the Kuwaiti Islamist as he predicted the doom of the very civilization these young men and women were living in. Why were these Muslim youth, born and educated in Canada, cheering the fall of the West? Did they not consider themselves to be part of the West? If they did, why would they be cheering its imminent collapse? And who were they expecting to carry out the, quote, outside force attack? How could they, as citizens of a democratic Western country, Canada of course, allow a Kuwaiti politician to write the obituary of the West, but also cheer him on as he did so? Would you like to read that quote from that magazine?
How did he get across the border to have that to give that
well, we're a very open country, Sandra. We allow anyone.
We refused George W. Bush.
I'm sure they didn't know he was going to say that, Sandra. I'm sure if they knew ahead of time, Harper might have. But we allow for the expression of views from all. Freedom of expression is the most important thing. I don't agree with what he says. He wants to call for the downfall of my country. If he really wants to say that, I'm going to obviously criticize it. But
I don't
want to repress him from. If he wants to be an idiot, there's no law against being an idiot. Right?
Yeah, but when you're mobilizing your force, it's one thing to say what you want to say. It's another thing to mobilize the troops.
Yeah, and that's what we have to fight against. We have to say this is disgusting. It's not appropriate behavior. But I don't want to silence him if he wants to say it. I mean, it's a free country, right? You should have your right to express yourself. Even if. I'm not so sure that that's accurate, because it's not.
you have a right to express yourself, but you don't have a right to stand up on a podium and because where do you draw the line with saying that's defamation, character defamation? You can be charged for that.
You can, and we obviously have to do a better job of integrating our fellow citizens. I think multiculturalism is the wrong philosophy.
Because that also, I could say, would be as much as a discrimination, because I could say, you know what, I don't appreciate you insulting me like that.
It shows you where young citizens of this country are looking for their identity. It's not in this country, and it's not, obviously that's not Canadian, the way
But
he's
that's not freedom of right to speech, though. I'm just saying I disagree
Right.
with your because really, that, you know, where one person has the freedom to speak, when it's insulting or condescending to somebody else, that's not freedom of right.
It is and it isn't. I don't know. I'm very liberal when it comes to expression. I believe if someone wants to say something, like I used to tutor kids, and they would say things, they would outburst. Sometimes they would.
But you know what? If I were to call somebody, if I were to say, I don't like the color of your skin, that's considered racist.
Well, that's a race-based comment. Like,
but what that could be considered
right. And you know, if you say that,
well.
Sandra, you're going to be taken to the woodshed.
Right. So why shouldn't that apply to him? What you're saying, that's freedom of speech. So if I said I don't like the color of your skin, isn't that freedom of speech too? Shouldn't I have a right to say that?
It
just
is,
like he
but
shouldn't I be able to say that in a room full of colored skin people?
You'll be less appealing. You'll have a harder time making friends. You'll have a harder time building bridges toward. Like there's going to be, if you say that, there's going to be massive consequences.
Yeah, I could say, what if, to his point, to Will's point, what if I said, I don't like all these people wearing turbans? And I'm not saying I'm saying that, I'm just, I'm posing this because you were saying he has a right to freedom of speech.
If you're the head of a construction company or you're the police officer and you pull someone over and they're not wearing their safety helmets, you're going to be like, why aren't you wearing a safety helmet? Like, why do you get special treatment? And they'll be like, oh, it's my religion. So it contravenes our laws. It creates a situation where we're putting our citizens. What if he falls off and hits his head and gets paralyzed?
I think what I'm saying is, if freedom of speech is one thing, but freedom of respect, I think, should trump.
I think people should earn respect, Sandra. I don't think I should respect anyone unless I assess their character and find out if I want to respect them.
Right, but you don't come into a country that is not your country and speak about taking down that country.
Well, obviously, Sandra.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I read the quote, because I found it so shocking. I use a lot of humor to make fun of these things because, I've talked to people that practice the Muslim faith. I talked to one yesterday, and he said that it's only a small percentage that, he mentioned to me, without me accusing him of anything, he feels awkward about it because he knows there are people out there saying these things.
But
he doesn't agree with it.
The only thing I'm saying with you, Shawn, is that you're saying this guy who said this, freedom of speech, he has a right to say that. I'm saying I don't agree with that.
It sure as hell helps sell this book better. It makes it more entertaining, right? So it's a shocking
Doesn't make it okay, though.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely not, right?
Okay, so
I
you want
think
me
they should design some new safety turbans.
Well, if you come up with that thing, you might actually be on the next...
I could be on Dragon's
Den, yeah. You can, and you can get $100,000.
Maybe safety koofies, too.
You have to patent that idea. You have to make it made of metal or something so that it's safe, so that if something falls...
I think you should have like a propeller that can fly you, and then you don't even have to take the...
That's already been done, Sandra.
Yeah. So you want to read that, Sandra? Or?
Okay.
You said that Toronto's the most multicultural city, and there are 2 debates ago, so that's why I brought this.
Okay. Okay, so Toronto's identity is a subject of much discussion, but so far no one has been able to make a snazzy slogan or singular characteristic stick to our city and put us on the proverbial map. Until Rob Ford, that is. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely. In the wrong way.
You can visit the Big Apple, Sin City, or the City of Love, or you can visit Toronto, period.
Cabbage Town.
New York City is the cultural capital of the world. Paris is teeming with art and historical significance. Toronto's character is not as clear-cut. The lack of a collective identity in Toronto inspires nostalgia for the places people come from and ambivalence about the future. This ambiguity is particularly frustrating for students who are desperate to define themselves in a place where there is no mold to do so. Because Toronto is such a mosaic of people, places, and cultures, we have to work that much harder than a city with less diversity to establish an identity.
Yeah, there's 180 different cultures in the city. It's hard to say, okay, this is Toronto specifically, like, the Sky Dome, the CN Tower. I mean, those are obviously tourist, hotspots.
But those are generic, right?
Yeah,
those are just generic
Maple Leaf Gardens. I think we're slowly starting to develop an identity. I actually think it'll take 2 decades for it to be more of a solid reality. We have a very weak sense of ourselves as Canadians.
So what's that going to look like, in your opinion?
It's
that
going to
identity
be,
in 2 decades?
In the future, we'll do a debate on the change of the source countries. The city of Toronto might be an Asian city if we keep on with the Liberal Party's immigration policy, because there's so many people pouring in, and they're all most of them are coming from 3 countries.
But these Conservatives, they haven't changed anything, have they? Have they?
I'm evaluating, I'm looking at the numbers, and we'll talk about that in a future debate, of course.
I bet they won't.
So with 3 countries, what are you saying? China, India?
Philippines and India.
Okay.
Represent 38% of all new citizens, and they're pouring into the cities. And Surrey, Victoria, and Montreal, the first 2 will lose their English language heritage, and Montreal in 5 or 10 years will become either Spanish, an Arabic, a Mandarin, or Cantonese majority city because of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism has given groups their own rights. I was watching an Omni show yesterday on TV, and they shut down a hospital that was hiring people who spoke, I think, Hungarian. Remember when Mike the Knife came to power? Mike Harris. So when he came to power, he wanted to save money, so there was like an ethnic hospital serving European citizens. So he merged the 2 and got rid of their special programs because they wanted to communicate to patients in their own language. He thought, well, they should be speaking English, and he got severely criticized for that. But you can see, conservative ideology is a little bit more unified than, say, liberal multicultural ideology.
I don't trust the Harper government to not.
Well, that's why we have to pressure them. We have to pressure our MPs for the positive change we want to see.
I think we should have Olivia Chow.
I like Rob Ford. Oops, that slipped out.
Yeah, because it's cool to have a mayor that smokes crack.
No, not for that reason. He's just fiscally responsible. So I hope he gets over these problems because it's embarrassing. I did vote for him in the last election, and I'm embarrassed.
Did you see the movie they're going to have with him?
Oh, God.
You're going to watch the show. We played the trailer earlier.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Okay, Shawn, is that it?
That's it, yeah.
All right, okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show, and that's it for the
Thank
show.
you,
Sandra.
Shawn. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
And where can people get in touch with you if they want to follow up with you about this stuff?
They can watch. They can watch my other videos. My contact information is available on those.
Indices.ca?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Shawn, thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So that's it for the show, and we're going to go with a video, right, Shawn?
Yeah. David Cameron's speech on multiculturalism.
Okay.
You
All
guys
right.
can roll that.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
See you next time here on ThatChannel.com.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thank you very much indeed, and it's a great honour to speak. This is my first Munich Security Conference, and it's good to speak at a conference that's older than I am, so it's a great honour to be here. It's a particular honour to be here with my friend, the German Chancellor. She has told you about our day yesterday in the European Council. My wife called me at about 8 o'clock last night and said, "Darling, where have you been all day?" And I said, "I've been having a 6-hour lunch with my friend from Germany, Angela." But I said, "Don't worry, there was also a man from Belgium called Herman there as well." Now today, I want to focus my remarks on terrorism. But first, let me address one point. Some have suggested that by holding a strategic defence and security review, Britain is somehow retreating from an activist role in the world. And that is the opposite of the truth. Yes, we are dealing with our budget deficit, but we are also making sure our defences are strong. Britain will continue to meet the NATO 2% target for defence spending. We will still have the 4th largest military defence budget in the world. And at the same time, we are putting that money to better use, focusing on conflict prevention and building a much more flexible army. That is not retreat, it is hard-headed. Every decision we take has 3 aims in mind. First, to continue to support the NATO mission in Afghanistan. Second, to reinforce our actual military capability. As Chancellor Merkel's government is showing right here in Germany, what matters is not bureaucracy, which frankly Europe needs a lot less of, but the political will to build military capability that we need as nations and allies that we can deliver in the field. And third, we want to make sure that Britain is protected from the new and various threats that we face. That is why we're investing in a national cyber-security programme that I know William Hague talked about yesterday, and we are sharpening our readiness to act on counter-proliferation. But the biggest threat that we face comes from terrorist attacks, some of which are sadly carried out by our own citizens. It is important to stress that terrorism is not linked exclusively to any one religion or ethnic group. My country, the United Kingdom, still faces threats from dissident Republicans in Northern Ireland. Anarchist attacks have occurred recently in Greece and in Italy. And of course, yourselves in Germany were long scarred by terrorism from the Red Army faction. Nevertheless, we should acknowledge that this threat comes, in Europe, overwhelmingly from young men who follow a completely perverse, warped interpretation of Islam and who are prepared to blow themselves up and kill their fellow citizens. Last week at Davos, I rang the alarm bell for the urgent need for Europe to recover its economic dynamism. And today, though the subject is complex, my message on security is equally stark. We will not defeat terrorism simply by the action we take outside our borders. Europe needs to wake up to what is happening in our own countries. Of course, that means strengthening, as Angela has said, the security aspects of our response, on tracing plots, on stopping them, on counter-surveillance and intelligence gathering. But this is just part of the answer. We have got to get to the root of the problem. And we need to be absolutely clear on where the origins of these terrorist attacks lie. And that is the existence of an ideology, Islamist extremism. And we should be equally clear what we mean by this term, and we must distinguish it from Islam. Islam is a religion observed peacefully and devoutly by over 1 billion people. Islamist extremism is a political ideology supported by a minority. At the furthest end are those who back terrorism to promote their ultimate goal, an entire Islamist realm governed by an interpretation of Sharia. Move along the spectrum and you find people who may reject violence but who accept various parts of the extremist world view, including real hostility towards Western democracy and liberal values. It is vital that we make this distinction between religion on the one hand and political ideology on the other. Time and again, people equate the two. They think whether someone is an extremist is dependent on how much they observe their religion. So they talk about moderate Muslims as if all devout Muslims must be extremist. This is profoundly wrong. Someone can be a devout Muslim and not be an extremist. We need to be clear. Islamist extremism and Islam are not the same thing. This highlights, I think, a significant problem when discussing the terrorist threat that we face. There is so much muddled thinking about this whole issue. On the one hand, those on the hard right ignore this distinction between Islam and Islamist extremism and just say that Islam and the West are irreconcilable, that there is a clash of civilizations. So it follows we should cut ourselves off from this religion, whether that's through forced repatriation favoured by some fascists or the banning of new mosques, as is suggested in some parts of Europe. These people fuel Islamophobia, and I completely reject their argument. If they want an example of how Western values and Islam can be entirely compatible, they should look at what's happened in the past few weeks on the streets of Tunis and Cairo. Hundreds of thousands of people demanding the universal right to free elections and democracy. Because the point is this, the ideology of extremism is the problem. Islam, emphatically, is not. Picking a fight with the latter will do nothing to help us confront the former. On the other hand, there are those on the soft left who also ignore this distinction. They lump all Muslims together, compiling a list of grievances, and argue that if only governments addressed these grievances, the terrorism would stop. So they point to poverty that so many Muslims live in and say, get rid of this injustice and the terrorism will end. But this ignores the fact that many of those found guilty of terrorist offences in the UK and elsewhere have been graduates and often middle class. They point to grievances about Western foreign policy and say, stop riding roughshod over Muslim countries and the terrorism will end. But there are many people, Muslim and non-Muslim alike, who are angry about Western foreign policy but who don't resort to acts of terrorism. They also point to the profusion of unelected leaders across the Middle East and say, stop propping these people up and you will stop creating the conditions for extremism to flourish. But this raises the question, if it's the lack of democracy that is the problem, why are there so many extremists in free and open societies? Now, I'm not saying that these issues of poverty and grievance about foreign policy are not important. Yes, of course we must tackle them. Of course we must tackle poverty. Yes, we must resolve the sources of tension, not least in Palestine. And yes, we should be on the side of openness and political reform in the Middle East. On Egypt, our position should be clear. We want to see the transition to a more broadly based government with the proper building blocks of a free and democratic society. I simply don't accept that there is somehow a dead-end choice between a security state on the one hand and an Islamist one on the other. But let us not fool ourselves. These are just contributory factors. Even if we sorted out all of the problems that I've mentioned, there would still be this terrorism. And I believe the root lies in the existence of this extremist ideology. And I would argue an important reason so many young Muslims are drawn to it comes down to a question of identity. What I'm about to say is drawn from the British experience, but I believe there are general lessons for us all. In the UK, some young men find it hard to identify with the traditional Islam practiced at home by their parents, whose customs can seem staid when transplanted to modern Western countries. But these young men also find it hard to identify with Britain too, because we've allowed the weakening of our collective identity. Under the doctrine of state multiculturalism, we've encouraged different cultures to live separate lives apart from each other and apart from the mainstream. We failed to provide a vision of society to which they feel they want to belong. We've even tolerated these segregated communities behaving in ways that run completely counter to our values. So when a white person holds objectionable views, racist views for instance, we rightly condemn them. Values. So when a white person holds objectionable views, racist views for instance, we rightly condemn them. But when equally unacceptable views or practices come from someone who isn't white, we've been too cautious, frankly even fearful, to stand up to them. The failure, for instance, of some to confront the horrors of forced marriage, the practice where some young girls are bullied and sometimes taken abroad to marry someone when they don't want to, is a case in point. This hands-off tolerance has only served to reinforce the sense that not enough is shared. And this all leaves some young Muslims feeling rootless. And the search for something to belong to and something to believe in can lead them to this extremist ideology. Now, for sure, they don't turn into terrorists overnight. But what we see, and what we see in so many European countries, is a process of radicalization. Internet chat rooms are virtual meeting places where attitudes are shared, strengthened and validated. In some mosques, preachers of hate can sow misinformation about the plight of Muslims elsewhere. In our communities, groups and organizations led by young, dynamic leaders promote separatism by encouraging Muslims to define themselves solely in terms of their religion. All these interactions can engender a sense of community, a substitute for what the wider society has failed to supply. Now you might say, as long as they're not hurting anyone, what is the problem with all this? Well, I'll tell you why. As evidence emerges about the backgrounds of those convicted of terrorist offences, it is clear that many of them were initially influenced by what some have called non-violent extremists, and they then took those radical beliefs to the next level by embracing violence. And I say this is an indictment of our approach to these issues in the past. And if we're to defeat this threat, I believe it is time to turn the page on the failed policies of the past. So first, instead of ignoring this extremist ideology, we, as governments and as societies, have got to confront it in all its forms. And second, instead of encouraging people to live apart, We need a clear sense of shared national identity that is open to everyone. Let me briefly take each in turn. First, confronting and undermining this ideology. Whether they are violent in their means or not, we must make it impossible for the extremists to succeed. Now, for governments, there are some obvious ways we can do this. We must ban preachers of hate coming to our countries. We must also proscribe organisations that incite terrorism against people at home and abroad. Governments must also be shrewder in dealing with those that, while they're non-violent, are in some cases part of the problem. We need to think much harder about who it's in the public interest to work with. Some organisations that seek to present themselves as a gateway to the Muslim community are showered with public money despite doing little to combat extremism. As others have observed, this is a bit like turning to a sort of right-wing fascist party to fight a violent white supremacist movement. So we should properly judge these organisations. Do they believe in universal human rights, including for women and people of other faiths? Do they believe in equality of all before the law? Do they believe in democracy and the right of people to elect their own government? Do they encourage integration or separation? These are the sorts of questions that we need to ask. Fail these tests and the presumption should be not to engage with these organisations. So no public money, no sharing of platforms with ministers at home. At the same time, we must stop these groups from reaching people in publicly funded institutions like universities or even, in the British case, prisons. Now, some say this is not compatible with free speech and free intellectual inquiry. Well, I say, would you take the same view if these were right-wing extremists recruiting on our campuses? Would you advocate inaction if Christian fundamentalists who believe that Muslims are the enemy were leading prayer groups in our prison? And to those who say these non-violent extremists are actually helping to keep young, vulnerable men away from violence, I say nonsense. Would you allow the far-right groups a share of public funds if they promise to help you lure young white men away from fascist terrorism? Of course not. But at root, challenging this ideology means exposing its ideas for what they are, and that is completely unjustifiable. We need to argue that terrorism is wrong in all circumstances. We need to argue that prophecies of a global war of religion pitting Muslims against the rest of the world are nonsense. Now, governments cannot do this alone. The extremism we face is a distortion of Islam, so these arguments in part must be made by those within Islam. So let us give voice to those followers of Islam in our own countries, the vast, often unheard majority who despise the extremists and their worldview. Let us engage groups that share our aspirations. Now, second, we must build stronger societies and stronger identities at home. Frankly, we need a lot less of the passive tolerance of recent years and a much more active, muscular liberalism. A passively tolerant society says to its citizens, as long as you obey the law, we will just leave you alone. It stands neutral between different values. But I believe a genuinely liberal country does much more. It believes in certain values and actively promotes them. Freedom of speech, freedom of worship, democracy, the rule of law, equal rights, regardless of race, sex or sexuality. It says to its citizens, this is what defines us as a society. To belong here is to believe in these things. Now, each of us in our own countries, I believe, must be unambiguous and hard-nosed about this defence of our liberty. There are practical things that we can do as well. That includes making sure that immigrants speak the language of their new home and ensuring that people are educated in the elements of a common culture and curriculum. Back home, we're introducing National Citizen Service, a 2-month programme for 16-year-olds from different backgrounds to live and work together. I also believe we should encourage meaningful and active participation in society by shifting the balance of power away from the state and towards the people. That way, common purpose can be formed as people come together and work together in their neighbourhoods. It will also help build stronger pride in local identity, so people feel free to say, yes, I am a Muslim, I am a Hindu, I'm a Christian, but I'm also a Londoner or a Berliner too. It's that identity, that feeling of belonging in our countries, that I believe is the key to achieving true cohesion. So let me end with this. This terrorism is completely indiscriminate and has been thrust upon us. It cannot be ignored or contained. We have to confront it with confidence. Confront the ideology that drives it by defeating the ideas that warp so many young minds at their root. And confront the issues of identity that sustain it by standing for much broader and generous vision of citizenship in our countries. Now, none of this will be easy. We will need stamina, patience, and endurance. And it won't happen at all if we act alone. This ideology crosses not just our continent, but all continents. And we are all in this together. At stake are not just lives, it is our way of life. That is why this is a challenge we cannot avoid. It is one we must rise to and overcome. Thank you.